You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. So let me unpack or deconstruct really what this whole thing is all about. Donald Trump, folks, is speaking to the white fear of a changing America. Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar, they represent the future makeup of America. And his base hates that. By 2043, America's going to be a nation majority of people of color. Trust me, don't think for a second he's not fully aware of what buttons he's pushing. And you may say, really, Roland, white fear? Yeah. Ask John Avlon on CNN. He and I were talking one day before we went on the air one day, and we were off to the side, and I said, John, we are about, this was the election of Obama after he was inaugurated. I said, we are now looking at the beginning of what I call white minority resistance. That is, even though whites comprise a majority in America, they are operating as if they are in a minority because of what we're going to see in 24 years. As I said, I've been saying this for consistently since 2009. Said it on CNN, said it on TV One, said it on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, on MSNBC, ABC. I would say it on Fox News, but they won't call a brother like me, likely because they know exactly how I roll. And frankly, it's time for white journalists and white media executives to wake up. Now, what white media journalists and media executives need to do is take off their blinders about Donald Trump and race. In fact, if you look at the New York Times, they won't even call his comments racist. They literally are afraid to even say the word. Now, let's go back to when he launched his campaign. How did he start? Rapist from Mexico, shithole countries, Haiti, Africa, refusing to apologize to the Central Park Five. Yeah. And see, here's what he does. He touts the First Step Act to say, I like black people. The reality is Donald Trump has a white nationalist view. Remember last week, Meghan McCain on The View? She said Donald Trump's supporters hate what he hates. Well, guess what? He gives them permission to unleash their inner hatred. And folks, this is no different. And media is complicit for not speaking the truth on this. I keep telling you, by 2043, America is going to be a nation majority people of color. Majority Hispanic, Black, Asian, Native American, and other. Whites will be 47% of the country, minorities 53% of the country. Don't get it twisted, folks. This is what is driving the conversation. When you hear white economic anxiety, now, first of all, the white family has median income higher than any other group. If there's anybody who should be economically anxious, are broke-ass people. Black people, Latinos, others. But see, this white fear is driving the GOP's policies, and Donald Trump knows it. Now, does this mean all white Americans have white fear? Nope. But the fear is of changing values, direction, and priorities. Let me put a pin in that. Because, see, again, I need you to understand what I am saying. America has been led, governed, and shaped through a white prism. Rights weren't given to blacks and others. We had to fight and petition for them. If you're white, you're born with all your rights. You haven't had to have laws changed. If America saw black folks and others as true Americans, there would be no need for the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, also known as the Reconstruction Amendments. There'd be no need for the 1866, the 1871, the 1875, the 1957, the 1960, 1964, 1968, 1991 Civil Rights Acts. Take a walk through American history, folks. White immigrants endured some resistance and bigotry from other white immigrants who are already here, but then they all got together and said, you know what, we all white, they black, and they linked together with their white cultural identity, eventually meshing and accepting one another. But see, we've always been in the other category. Now, again, unpacking this, what Donald Trump is doing is giving voice to what was pushed out of public voice into the deep recesses of the home and minds. Remember Robert E. Lee, after the Civil War, told his troops to furl the rebel flag. It was missing from American life for 3 generations. When did the Confederate flag reemerge? In 1948, when the Democrats, in a very small way, put a civil rights part in their party plank. The racist Dixiecrats got real upset, held their own conference in Mississippi, and guess what they pulled out of the attic? The Confederate flag. Now remember, this all happened after Republican Herbert Hoover led the Lily White movement on the Republican Party. Then you had that violent racist Democrat, Woodrow Wilson, who embraced the birth of a nation. The history of America can be marked based on white fear and attacks on people of color. And what is typically the driving force? Culture and economics. Guess what's always used as an excuse? Crime. Portray minorities as stains on American due to crime. Just check Donald Trump's tweet. Pull the tweet up, please. What did he reference? The crime in these nations. Pull the tweet up. Here's what it says. Right there. Okay? Worst, most corrupt, and end up anywhere in the world. Next. Come on. Next. Right there. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? What Donald Trump is saying is code. What he is saying is these others, they are criminals. And that's where you come from. That's what he was trying to say there. Folks, this racism formed the basis of his presidential run. But here's the key. This is nothing more than his 2020 re-election plan. What did he say in 2016? Only I can fix this. The same racist playbook Nixon ran on in 1968. Oh, Nixon tossed the black folks an economic bone. That's what James Brown stood with Nixon. Trump today touts the black unemployment rate as his racist cover for white fear. Folks, as we stand here to fully explain Donald Trump's worldview and playing to white fear, I think of this scene. How many of y'all remember the movie The Good Shepherd, starring Matt Damon, Joe Pesci? In The Good Shepherd, Matt Damon plays an early CIA officer, and he seeks the help from Italian mobster Joe Pesci. Now, they don't like each other, but they need each other because they have a common enemy. If you want to understand white fear in America, if you want to understand Donald Trump's go back tweet, if you want to understand the history of America in terms of whites seeing everyone else as others, watch this.
Let me ask you something. We Italians, we got our families and we got the church. The Irish, they have the homeland. The Jews, their tradition. Even the niggers, they got their music. What about you people, Mr. Carlson? What do you have?
The United States of America. The rest of you are just visiting.
That 29-second scene explains white America and the rest of us. And the fear is that we're no longer just visiting. Folks, it's time white journalists woke up the hell up, because trust me, this ain't going away. This is going to survive Trump. This is going to continue far past 2043. And folks need to understand exactly what is going on in this nation. Let's go to our panel right now. Dr. Avis Jones-DeWeaver, political analyst, leadership strategist. Also, Dr. Julianne Malvolio, economist, president emerita at Bennett College, as well as Eugene Craig, CEO, Eugene Craig Organization. Eugene, you're Republican, your party, filled with a bunch of cowards, absolutely afraid to question this man. They had to be forced to do so after about 24 or so hours because they literally had no choice because it was clearly racist. Before we go there was even a news conference today where a crazy man literally said, I'm not racist. Not I. How dare you? I got it.
I didn't mention names, and I didn't do that, but I will tell you, with our country, and I think everybody in this audience, these are great manufacturers, great workers in our audience, too. They brought a lot of their workers here. If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time. That's what...
Okay, I'm going to come back to it. If you're not happy here, you can leave. Didn't his punk ass criticize Obama during the 8 years? Did he leave? What's even more embarrassing? The punk ass is clapping in the audience to the stupid statement. Press play.
What I said in a tweet, which I guess some people think is controversial. A lot of people love it, by the way. A lot of people love it. But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now.
Stop it right there. He does know there's a thing called the First Amendment, which allows for you to protest, allows for you to assemble, allows for you to critique. No, he can't read. Go ahead and press play.
Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay, too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
But these are Americans.
Well, that's just a very racist statement, somebody that would say that. So Speaker Pelosi said, make America white again. Let me tell you, that's a very racist statement. I'm surprised she'd say that. John, go ahead.
Eugene.
He definitely tried to pull the old conservative trope. I'm not the racist. You're the racist. It's a lot to unpack there. I'll do a quick rapid fire. Will Hurt, stepped up per usual. He's usually the first to call out the president on a lot of these things without having to be asked to. I am very shocked and disappointed in Tim Scott's statement. Literally 2 years ago, this is the same person that stood on the floor of the Senate and, gave his encounter of being a black U.S. senator, not a black man, a black U.S. senator in the D.C. metro area. And for him to equivocate criticism of law enforcement to the president coming in and giving very blatant racist statements is beyond disappointing. What you're seeing here is not atypical at this point of elected Republican members of Congress in the U.S. Senate, especially folk that are for re-election, like Lindsey Graham, to either not seriously criticize the president, call out his racist statements. But what I think is also more damaging and damning is to try to equivocate socialism or try to call, the squad anti-Semitic because they disagree with the racist Netanyahu administration in Israel. They're not saying they hate Jews or hate the Israeli people, but it's not anti-American, it's not anti-Semitic to criticize Israel. The state of Israel, the government of Israel.
Julian, not one white conservative evangelical has said a word, no shock. If you go back and read or watch our reading of Frederick Douglass' July 4th speech, the biggest criticism he had in there was for the white church.
Yes.
You go back and read that, and then you can see present day. Trust me, they're both associated. Go ahead.
And read the letter from the Birmingham jail, in which Dr. King also called out the church, the so-called Christians who are not Christian. I want to, Roland, go back to 1918, to the lynching of Mary Turner. Mary Turner was a black woman whose husband was lynched, and she said that she was going to hold people accountable. And when they said that she
Eugene, turn your damn phone off, Eugene.
I really do. I'm trying to talk.
If you're going to play with your phone on the show, turn the volume down first.
It was a mistake.
Then play with your phone.
Yeah, especially about
Julian's, don't talk because your ass done before. Don't act like don't start trying to front Eugene. Yeah, I do have a point. Now finish your point.
Okay, Roland. I love you anyway.
She gonna try to pile on Eugene when you done before. Go on.
Okay.
Keep going.
Mary Turner lynched because she was mouthy. Because she was a mouthy black woman who was going to hold white people accountable for lynching her husband. What the punishment for black women being mouthy has been lynching or worse, as in Sandra Bland, as in others. And so these 4 women of color, amazing women who I admire, did what Democrats do. Let's be clear. What Democrats do. Dissent is the foundation of a democratic society. So they and Pelosi are dusting up. Ain't no biggie. That's what Democrats do all the time. But the orange orangutan gets into it because he feels like he has something to say, which is nothing. The difference between Democrats and Republicans is that Republicans have sworn, they put their hands on the Bible of the orangutan, and they've sworn fealty to him. And no matter what he does, as he said, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and he thinks it's okay. But in the image of Mary Turner, of Shirley Chisholm, and of others, we must stand behind these women and also call this idiot to task for this. Yes, it's racist. I mean, so many of us have been told. I used to do radio in San Francisco, and whenever I said something that stupid people didn't like, go back to Africa, I'd be like, send me tickets. Just send me tickets. Somebody did. They sent me a one-way ticket. I said, if you send me the round trip, I'll use it. But, you know, this is what people do when black people have something to say about the faults of this country, faults that they acknowledged when they wrote this Constitution. Ask John Adams.
Avis, I'm not shocked at all by what Donald Trump did. I'm not pissed off by it. Follow me here. I use this as motivation for what the focus has to be. It's to throw him the hell out of office. Because there is no bottom. There's no such thing as Donald Trump has hit rock bottom. No. He will go lower. And he will go lower. You cannot shame him. And he says what he wants to say. Folks, they fall into it. These white executives in media play it up big time. And so the only way to get rid of this cancer is to organize, mobilize, or throw him the hell out.
Absolutely. I mean, he is what he is. All he did was put on display even more blatantly who he is. He is racist. This is no surprise. We've known this from day one. But it's, you know, and as you've said, this is a trope that we all know is a racist trope. I mean, the first time somebody said that to me, I was probably 6 years old. I mean, we know what that means.
Yeah, we know what it said. Go back to where you came from.
Absolutely.
We've all heard that.
We've all heard that.
That's the one white folks always, racist white folks always use that one. And it's just like, really, that's the one y'all want to use?
Absolutely.
The second one is your affirmative action hire. So we know all the phrases.
We know them all. And 9 times out of 10, my family been here longer than your family.
Hello.
Come on, let's get real.
And he
ain't from here.
What I want to, he's not. That's what I'm going to say.
And we damn sure know his wife not here. From here.
How long has his wife been here? How long has his mother been here? Was he even born in the United States? Let's just think about that for a minute. He projects every damn thing else. Now, I'm just, wondering about that. So we know who he is. We know he's racist, and we know that he's specifically targeting these black women because, as you mentioned, what they hate most are black women who are free. Black women who will say what they have to say. And quite frankly...
Yeah, they ain't never been able to black men or black women who are free.
Well, that's true, but I mean free-minded. And
that's what I'm saying.
And I will also say it's not all Democrats that have the courage to speak up.
Yeah.
I really, honestly, I really feel like Nancy Pelosi gave him the courage to come out here and do this. And I think she has some culpability in this.
Oh, I agree.
And I also think that her tweet was weak. The only thing that she mentioned in her tweet was about xenophobia. She did not mention that this was a racist tweet. And let me tell you, he's never criticized illegal white immigrants, and there are plenty of them, tens of thousands of them. And so this was a racist statement, not just a xenophobic statement. And she needs to say that.
And in fact, this was Nancy Pelosi's tweet. When Donald Trump tells 4 American congresswomen to go back to their countries, he reaffirms his plan to make America great again has always been about making America white again. Our diversity is our strength and our unity is our power. Anyway.
What the problem here, just a sec, because the thing about this is we built this sucker.
Absolutely.
We built this sucker. That MF would not, excuse my language, MF would not, Maryland Farmer would not have a White House if it had not been for the labor of enslaved people.
Okay, first of all, undocumented workers work on his damn golf courses, his winery, and he's been using them for all his time.
And exploiting
them. And he's playing these dumb, ignorant, MAGA, red hat wearing fools. And I'm like, y'all, he playing y'all. His daughter, all her stuff ain't made in America.
No, all his stuff is made.
She get all kind of patents in China.
His Make America hats are made in China.
That's how dumb they are. But again, but they're falling for this nonsense because in the history of America, when broke white folks had economic problems, they did not blame everybody else. Who do they blame? Black people.
Yeah.
But also on the West Coast. Who do they blame in the late 1900s? The damn Chinese people. Yep. Okay, you can trace American history.
Yep.
When white folks have economic problems, they lash out. We talked about it before. The reason Tulsa got burned down because white folks did not like the amount of money they were making.
Yep.
In Memphis, same thing with lynching. Eugene, it's one after another. We can go back to the 1980s when they passed the initial proposition in California. Okay, they targeted, I forgot the number, targeted legal immigrants. I'll never forget, Molly Ivins wrote a column. She said, y'all, it ain't because of them. It's because of base closures in the whole state of California. But that's what we've always seen. This targeting of people of color when white folks are unsettled because of economics. And the problem now, Eugene, they're now literally saying, like, damn, oh my God, this is the most diverse Congress. What? You got 2 Muslim women, and you got that Muslim dude, Andre Carson. We had 2 Muslims before Keith Ellison became Attorney General in Minnesota. Damn, now we came back with 3. Like, what happened? they don't know what to do.
Yeah, right, the hijab.
And one wears a hijab. So the thing is this, right? To Avis's point, Nancy Pelosi is actually the only person that can actually really do something about this, and that's impeach 45. And she doesn't want to go down that path, but she's going to end up being forced to go down that path. But this country absolutely has always blamed the other. It's one of the reasons why the work that Dr. Barber's doing is so important to, somewhat wake up poor white folk up. That look, your economic situation isn't because of brown people or tan people or black people. It's because of other white people.
Yeah.
This is, again, I need everybody to understand. You can't just make this about Donald Trump.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, this is white fear.
Yep.
And I'm going to close this out so I can get you to understand what you're dealing with here. When I talked about morals and values and culture, okay? When you hear Ocasio-Cortez, or when you hear Pressley, or you hear Ilhan Omar, or Rashida Tlaib, when you hear them talking about how we view the American flag. See, white folks have been raised. It's the flag. Oh, my God. Wrap yourself in it. Oh, my God, the glory of the flag. But see, for us, we also know the flag has been used for oppression. And so our view is different. What you have to understand is how America was created. How that whites have been trained to view America. As Jackie Robinson said, I ain't saluting that flag. I ain't standing for that flag. And folks said, well, what's wrong with him? He served in the military. That's the real deal here. The reason the Colin Kaepernick case was so controversial, because he had an alternative view of the national anthem and the flag. That's what I mean by culture. What I mean by culture, folks, is that the beauty standard in America has been a white, blonde, blue-eyed woman. Now the problem is, damn, we got to consider other people. Okay, they already pissed off, Look, it ain't even like a new thing now to see a black Miss America. Because, hell, what we want, about 8, 9 by now? They don't know what to do. Okay? All right? Why do you think it was such a visceral reaction with Tiger in golf? Serena in tennis? Because you had black folks who are now going into typically white spaces, and they're now succeeding. That's what's going on here. So when I talk about this worldview, that's the real issue. The worldview is changing. This nation has been constructed through a white prism. Now, it now has to be seen through a black prism, through a Latino prism, through a Muslim prism, through a female prism. It was a nation that was built for white male landowners to have power. It's in the documents, y'all. All you got to do is read. And so, don't think, and this is why Joe Biden is wrong as hell. Joe Biden thinks, defeat Trump, we go back to normal. That's the problem, Joe. We ain't trying to go back to normal. Because we've known normal for 400 years. And that bullshit ain't work for us. All right, folks, back to our Roland Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, MarijuanaStock.org has another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a bunch of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. Last time, of course, many of you missed it. Now you have a second opportunity. They have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better, than the last one. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of their plants, which makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords. And you can get in on the action by investing in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. Like I said, you don't want to miss out on the opportunity. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game, and get in the game now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.